Why cholesterol took the blame first. I spent years looking at egg yolks like they were tiny yellow HR complaints. One bite and I expected my arteries to send me a formal warning. For a long time, eggs got blamed for raising cholesterol and damaging heart health. That fear came from older research that made dietary cholesterol sound like the main problem. But newer evidence has made that story a lot less simple. For many people, the cholesterol in food does not affect blood cholesterol the way people once thought. The liver makes most of the body's cholesterol on its own, and it can adjust production based on what a person eats. That is why eggs are not the automatic villain they were made out to be. In many healthy adults, eating eggs does not lead to the kind of dangerous cholesterol changes people fear most. What often matters more is the full diet around the eggs. Foods high in saturated fat, highly processed meals, excess calories, and low fiber tend to have a bigger impact on heart risk than the egg itself. That does not mean eggs are perfect for everybody. Some people respond differently, especially if they already have diabetes, inherited cholesterol problems, or other metabolic issues. But the old idea that an egg yolk is basically a heart attack in a shell does not hold up very well anymore. And that matters, because once cholesterol stops taking all the blame, it forces a better question. If cholesterol is not the main hidden danger of eating eggs every day, then what is? What eggs actually do inside your body? I used to think an egg was just breakfast with good branding. Cheap, easy, and sitting there in the fridge like it had no idea people were making documentaries about it. But an egg is more than just a quick meal. It is one of the most complete foods people regularly eat. Eggs contain high-quality protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, and a group of nutrients the body uses for energy, repair, brain function, and hormone support. That is a big reason they keep showing up in studies, diet plans, and arguments at family brunch. The protein in eggs is especially important because it is easy for the body to use. Protein helps repair tissue, maintain muscle, support the immune system, and build enzymes that keep the body running. The yolk also matters. It contains choline, which helps support the brain, liver, and nervous system. It also contains lutein and zeaxanthin, two antioxidants linked to eye health. Eggs can also help with fullness. A breakfast built around protein and fat tends to hold people longer than one built around sugar and refined carbs. That is one reason people often feel more stable after eggs than after cereal, toast, or a muffin pretending to be responsible. So when someone eats eggs every day, the body is not just seeing a simple breakfast food. It is getting a dense package of nutrients that can help in a lot of ways, which is exactly why the hidden downside is easy to miss. A food can be useful and still come with a catch. The hidden danger might be what eggs feed in your gut. I used to assume if a food looked innocent enough, my body would greet it like a polite guest. Meanwhile, my gut was apparently running a nightclub with a very selective door policy. This is where the egg story gets more interesting. The hidden issue for some people may not be cholesterol at all. It may be what happens after compounds in eggs reach the gut. Egg yolks are rich in choline, which is an important nutrient. The body needs it for the brain, liver, and cell health. But in some people, gut bacteria can turn part of that choline into a compound called trimethylamine, or TMA. The liver then turns that into TMAO. TMAO has drawn attention because higher levels have been linked in some studies to heart and metabolic risk. But this is not a simple eggs are bad story. Different studies have found different results, and not everyone makes the same amount. A person's gut bacteria, overall diet, liver function, and metabolic health can all change the outcome. That means the hidden danger may be less about the egg itself and more about the body it lands in. For one person, eggs may fit just fine. For another, eating them every day may not be the smartest move if the gut and metabolic picture are already working against them. And that is what makes this tricky. The same food can look helpful on paper and still play very differently in real life. Why some people feel worse eating eggs every day. Nothing keeps a person humble like eating a food everyone calls healthy and then realizing your body did not get the memo. This is where daily eggs can get complicated. Even though eggs are nutrient-dense, not everybody feels great eating them all the time. Some people notice bloating, nausea, stomach discomfort, skin changes, or a heavy feeling after eating eggs often. In some cases, that points to sensitivity. In others, it may be about digestion, the rest of the diet, or how the eggs are cooked and paired. Egg allergy is more common in children, but adults can still react to eggs too. Some reactions are obvious, like hives, stomach pain, or swelling. Others are less dramatic and easier to dismiss. That is part of the problem. When a food is seen as healthy, people are less likely to question it. There is also the issue of quantity. A person may tolerate eggs a few times a week and feel fine, but eating them every single day can be a different story. The body does not always complain loudly. Sometimes it just gets slower, puffier, or more irritated over time. That does not mean eggs are bad. It means repeating any food every day can hide patterns people miss. And if eggs seem to make someone feel worse, the smartest move is not forcing them harder. It is paying attention before healthy turns into why do I feel weird all the time? But here's where a lot of people get fooled. The egg itself may not be the thing causing the problem. It may be what happens to that egg once it hits your pan and your plate. The real problem may be how you cook them. I used to think eggs were automatically healthy no matter what I did to them. Fry them in half a lake of oil, bury them under cheese, throw them next to bacon, and somehow still act like I was making a clean choice. That is the kind of confidence only breakfast can produce. A lot of the time, the egg is not the real problem. The problem is what gets added to it, cooked with it, or served beside it. Eggs on their own bring protein, choline, and other useful nutrients. But once they become part of a greasy, ultra-processed breakfast, the health story can change fast. For example, cooking eggs with large amounts of butter, processed meat, or low-quality oils can raise the total load of saturated fat, sodium, and calories. That matters because heart and metabolic risk is often shaped more by the full meal than by the egg itself. An egg next to sausage, white toast, and sugary coffee is not the same thing as an egg with fruit, vegetables, or a simple whole food breakfast. High heat can also change the picture. Overcooking eggs or pairing them with heavily browned, charred foods may create more oxidized compounds, which can add stress in the body over time. That does not mean people need to panic over a browned omelet. It means the daily pattern matters. So if eggs seem like they are causing a problem, the first question should not always be, are eggs bad? Sometimes the better question is, what exactly did I turn them into? What you eat with eggs can change the whole story. I used to think eggs could cancel out the rest of breakfast like some kind of nutritional hall pass. Throw an egg on the plate, and suddenly the bacon, white toast, hash browns, and giant sugary coffee were all supposed to sit there and behave. But the body does not judge foods one at a time. It responds to the whole meal. That is why eggs can look great in one breakfast and far less helpful in another. The protein and fat in eggs may support fullness, muscle repair, and steadier energy. But those benefits can get buried when eggs are paired with foods that push blood sugar up fast, add excess sodium, or bring a large amount of processed fat. This matters more than people think because eggs are often eaten in the exact meals that create the biggest problems. A diner-style breakfast can pile several stressors onto one plate at once. Processed meats may add sodium and preservatives. White bread and hash browns can spike blood sugar quickly. Sweet drinks add even more sugar on top. At that point, the egg is not exactly the villain, but it is also not enough to rescue the meal from its own bad behavior. The better move is to build around the egg instead of just placing it in the middle of a nutritional crime scene. Pairing eggs with fruit, vegetables, oats, avocado, or other whole foods changes the effect of the meal. It slows things down, adds fiber, improves nutrient balance, and makes the breakfast work with the body instead of against it. That is why eggs can be both helpful and overrated. Not because the egg changes, because the company it keeps does. Which eggs make more sense if you eat them a lot? I used to buy eggs with the same strategy I use for paper towels. Cheapest first, ask questions never. If it came in a carton and did not look openly suspicious, into the cart it went. If someone eats eggs often, quality starts to matter more. Not because regular eggs are poison, but because the feed and living conditions of the hens can affect the final nutrient profile. Eggs from hens raised in better conditions may have modest differences in omega-3 fats, certain vitamins, and carotenoids. The changes are not magic, but they can add up when eggs are a daily food. That is why labels matter a little, even if they can be confusing. Terms like cage-free, pasture-raised, and organic do not mean the same thing. Pasture-raised generally points to better outdoor access. Organic refers more to the feed. Cage-free sounds nice, but it does not always mean the birds had much room. So if someone is eating eggs once in a while, this may not be a huge deal. But if eggs are a daily habit, choosing better quality can make more sense. At the same time, this is not a reason to become dramatic in the grocery store. A regular egg is still a better breakfast than a pastry and a fake health bar. The point is not perfection. It is just understanding that when a food shows up every day, the details matter more than they do when it is occasional. Who should not push eggs every single day? The internet loves acting like one food works for everybody, which is cute. That logic falls apart the second a real human body enters the room. Eggs can be a very good food for many people, but eating them every day is not a rule anyone has to follow, and for some people, it may be the wrong move. Those with egg allergy, known sensitivity, certain inherited cholesterol disorders, or trouble digesting eggs may need to be more careful. People with diabetes or a higher level of heart risk may also need to pay closer attention to the full picture, especially if eggs are showing up inside an already poor diet. There is also the issue of monotony. Eating the same healthy food every day can create blind spots. It can crowd out variety, make it easier to miss a problem, and give people a false sense that breakfast is handled just because one nutrient-dense food is on the plate. That is not how nutrition works. A strong diet is built on patterns, not loyalty to one food. So the hidden danger of eating eggs every day is not that eggs are secretly toxic. It is that people can treat them like a free pass, ignore how their own body responds, and stop looking at the rest of the diet. Eggs can be useful. They just should not be promoted like a personality trait or a nutritional religion. Eggs are not the bad guy people were told to fear, but they are not a free pass either. The real risk often comes from context, your gut, your body, how you cook them, what you eat with them, and whether your habits help or hurt you over time. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe for more clear health breakdowns, and tell me in the comments, do eggs make you feel better, worse, or no different?